Good morning, everyone. We're back ready to go on a new year. This is our first meeting of the new year of 2024, if you can believe that. So I hope everyone enjoyed your holiday and New Year's. We're looking forward to a new year and having great things for Pulaski County. So appreciate everyone being here. As our usual, we want to take a moment of silence to remember what's going on in Pulaski County. And then I've asked our county clerk, Tim Price, to lead us in the pledge. So anyone have any concerns that they'd like to mention in prayer or just to keep in our thoughts before we do our 30-second or so moment of silence?
Just remember Jessica Sturgill.
Yeah. Jessica Sturgill here in our finance department had some surgery yesterday. Came through it well, but appreciate your thoughts and prayers. Anyone else? Everyone will please bow for a moment of silence, and then we'll be followed with the pledge from Mr. Tim Price. Thank you very much. Everyone will please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business would be to approve the minutes from December 14th, the last fiscal court meeting. I think everyone has a copy in front of you. See any changes or additions to the minutes?
Motion to accept.
Mr. Wilson makes a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ranshaw. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. First item of business and new business is Emergency Warming Center, New Life Church. Mr. Bobby Lovelace, would you like to present that? Step right up to the front here so you can get on camera and everybody can hear you.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Fiscal Court for letting us be here. And being asked to be here, but we're kind of ramping up for the next week. It looks like the weather's going to get bad, and just want to let everybody know we're housing somewhere around 8 to 10 people on real cold nights. Look for it to get a little bit busier here next week. We also, I just want to point out that it's not just for the homeless and so forth. It's for, if there's an emergency, electric goes out, somebody don't have heat. We do have families that come in from time to time that don't have electric or can't afford the heat bill. So, but I appreciate the Fiscal Court for letting us be here.
We appreciate what you're doing. I know it's a tough situation. It's been a tough situation for your church, but you guys have stepped up again this year. You guys have done this for quite a few years now, and I really do appreciate you guys stepping up. If somebody wants to volunteer and help out, they just contact.
Yeah, they can contact me or the pastor of the church or Nicole Walden. It's on Facebook. It's pretty easy to get to.
And one of the biggest things with the Emergency Warming Center is expenses, correct?
Right.
So how they can go to your website and make a donation if they want to?
We have a church website that they can donate to the Warming Center with.
So,
The building that we're in it's pretty good size. It's got high ceilings. It's basically a gymnasium, and it just costs a lot to heat it,
So one of the things that I've been working on in the last budget, we allowed for up to $10,000 for emergency warming shelters But with New Life being a church, we couldn't actually give them money without an agreement saying that we're going to partner up with them for the year. And they agreed to make sure it is open to anybody in the county. So Martin came up with an agreement for the court to approve to allow us to give them funds. In this agreement, we're going to give them $1,000 a month for January, February, March. So I think we just need to approve this agreement. So I want to make a motion that we approve this agreement.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve this agreement that I think is in front of everyone. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Turpin seconds. Any other discussion on this agreement with the for a warming center at New Life Church? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
In the same sense, I need one more motion. We need to go ahead and make a motion to cut them a check for the first $1,000. They're going to need that money next week and all that, so I want to make a motion. It's not part of the bill list. It has to be a separate motion right now.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve the first draw at the New Life Church for $1,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Strunk. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
No.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Bobby.
guys. Appreciate
Who will be signing the agreement on behalf of the church?
Bobby?
Oh,
Can you sign it?
I can.
All right. Do you mind doing that before you leave?
No, that's fine.
that way you don't have to stay for the whole meeting.
I got a pen.
I don't.
Hey.
Sir? No, thank you.
Next item of business is we need to extend or renew the lease with CASA, which is the court-appointed special advocates. So they have the room next door here. They've been there since 19, I think. Yes, 19. They don't pay any rent or anything. We just, goodness of fiscal court, we approved an area for them. It's abused and neglected children across Rockcastle, Lincoln, and Pulaski County. They do a good service, and their leases ran out, and we're just asking to renew it at this date. It would run through December 31st of 26. It'd be a 3-year lease. It's been a 2-year with automatic renewal for 2 more years, but it's been out since August.
Motion to approve the lease.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Turpin. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item would be road additions or removal. I think today we're going to be asking for a motion for a public hearing on the 461 connector roads, which have been up for discussion with the state for some time. I could name them off if you like. Mark Shopful Spur, Mark Shopful Road, Valley Oak Road, Cohen Road Connector, Pin Oak Drive, and Pin Oak Connector. They're all roads that were cut or redesigned with the new 461 interchange. And I'll ask for a motion for a public hearing to bring those into the county system.
Motion.
Mr. Turpin makes that motion.
Second.
Mr. Wilson seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? We will schedule a public hearing for that one. Also, I need a motion for a public hearing to remove a portion of Dogwood Drive. That's down off of Omega Park Drive. That was originally put into the county system more than the length of the road. Let's just say that. So I need to have a public hearing to remove some of that. Martin, you might talk on that.
Yeah, I think from what the road department says, and I forget the exact numbers, Mark, you may remember, but there's more of the road that was blacktopped than what was originally voted to be taken in by the county. So this is an effort to remove that part that was the additional part that wasn't approved.
Well,
Blacktop, I guess.
on that, back in 1995, 2,100 foot of that road was brought in. Well, it was never developed past the 1,300 foot mark. So beyond that's nothing but grass and trees and woods and all that. So this is and it's causing a situation that's been going on for a couple of years. We've had this application for a couple of years before the transition, and I know I already talked to Jason and Jimmy, and they both remember going down and looking at it. So at this point, the next step would be a public hearing.
But as I always say, even though this has grown up and everything, it still could be considered a public road. Doesn't mean the county has anything to do with it once it's taken out of the county maintenance, but that would be between private individuals to enforce those rights.
We'll have a motion for a public hearing.
Motion.
Mr. Renshaw makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Turpin seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. I think the next item would be to open a custodial supply bid. I think we have one bid that came in for cleaning materials, I guess, at the courthouse. All the public facilities that we own are supplies for that.
Looks like it's from South Central Janitorial. There's a lot of different items here that are being bid on. Other, kitchen, break room supplies, paper supplies, chemicals are all the categories. But there's
Motion to
no,
accept the bid?
Second.
I have a motion to accept from Mr. Strunk and the second from Mr. Wilson. Any discussion on this item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
pass that down.
Motion passes. Moving along to the department reports. First up would be our Sheriff, Bobby Jones.
Good morning. I think Teresa's already handed out budgets to everyone that y'all can look over. So with that being said, what I need is a motion to accept the 2024 budget as a whole in the amount of $4,622,000.
I think the court can just acknowledge that he presented the budget and not vote on it at this point in time if you want to do that.
But I have some questions on here.
Sure.
Your budget is increased by $600,000 roughly. You're asking for additional $120,000 from the county for payroll and an extra $10,000 for holiday pay. We're looking at these numbers, and I think we're really strapped on funds going into the next budget because of the fact that the overwhelming amount that the retirement's going up and the other items that we're going to be talking about today too. Can you explain why you're asking for another, what did I say, $130,000 from the county? Because we actually gave you extra money last year
Correct.
and all that, so.
Yeah. We're putting this in the budget for what I'm asking for, so fiscal court's not out anything until July, and then y'all can vote. Y'all can, when you do your budget, y'all can decide, yes, what I'm asking, I'm going ahead and putting y'all on notice that I'll be asking. I think that's fair for me to do, to put the county on notice that I'm gonna be asking for a raise for my deputies and 2 additional deputies. I asked for 8. Last year I got 1.5, 2 deputies is what I got. We went through the hiring process, started that in September. I hired my first one last week. Just like the job market and everywhere else. So the money that we're asking for doesn't necessarily, it's a budget. It doesn't mean that y'all are willing to get this additional manpower and or raise. That'll be determined in July for y'all's budget. The actual amount that would cost the county this year would be an additional $58,000 if they approve that. The other is money being taken out of because we're not paying, the sheriff's office is not having to pay in, or the county is not having to pay in retirement and Social Security on employees that we don't have. So if we don't have the employees, and it's going to be the one that I hired today. I am getting some lateral transfers. I've hired 3 from other agencies. I've been blessed with that to fill some holes, because if not, we are the primary law enforcement in this county. We answer 95, and that's being on the conservative side, all the calls in this county. But our units are strapped. I mean, I'm hearing it on a daily basis. Just last night, complaints about they don't have enough time. I just came from a complaint in the lobby just a minute ago, and I don't care to share that information. You know, and I understand why the public's upset that we're not getting to their calls quick enough, or why we're not investigating because all we're doing is running from call to call and taking reports. That's not fair to the public. So we wanted to go ahead and put y'all on notice. Like I said, that doesn't mean that y'all have to accept that in July. But the additional, so it's no additional money. The other money is coming from where we just transferred money from Social Security, retirement, and the health insurance that we're not using, to where we can utilize it back into our payroll.
The last time we talked, you were down 7 deputies.
That's correct.
Where are you at right now?
Where I'm at right now is we've got 3 more in the process. We've got 1 that is, like I said, we just hired him last week on the 2nd to go to the academy. The academy date is not set. There was 1 slot this morning. I can't even make this up. It's just this process. I'm dependent on DOCJT and KLEC on when I can get this stuff done, the polygraphs, the backgrounds. And I say this is whether you go to Somerset, Burnside, or whatever. If they hire somebody new, that it's a broken system. But that's what I'm dealt. So we just started in September. I hired 1 on the 2nd. There's supposed to be another one started today. He called me last week and said he's not taking the job. He's going to take a job with Russell Springs. They're not hazardous, but he'd rather do that for, so that's what I'm dealt with. So right now I'm down. We're looking at 3 more to actually hire. I'm actually looking at another certified. We'll see how that goes, and then we're still in the application process. We're still going through the process, even though that one backed out. We're going through that process of trying to get additional deputies on the road. But the dynamics is, I've got 1 deputy that had kidney cancer. He's been out for several months. I've got one deputy that's overseas fighting military. And, then with COVID going around, with deputies being off sick and having to fill in slots, I'd rather have the deputies and pay them the normal regular salary than to have to be paying this time and a half for some of these deputies, to have to work time and a half, because we gotta fill the host, we gotta have the coverage. I'm not going to send my deputies out there, one deputy at a time with one on patrol.
The school resource officer budget went from 375 to 600,000. Is the county paying for any
Nothing.
of that?
Nothing.
Okay, that's all done through the schools, okay.
Yeah.
Give me just a second here.
Sure.
While he's looking that over, you guys do have to adopt, at least, under 64,530, y'all do have to adopt an amount to fix their salaries, fringe benefits, and et cetera. And you're proposing the $2,980,000, right, Sheriff? Is that what you're proposing?
No, he's proposing three.
That'll come next. That's the maximum
No.
salaries. Right
No.
now it's the budget. I've got,
Yeah, but
yeah.
but my point is, by
Yes.
statute, you all don't have to adopt his budget, but you do have to fix salaries.
Right, yeah, the salaries, yeah, the next motion will be correct, will be, $2,980,000, correct.
But that in the same sense, why we're already talking about this. But if for some reason the county can't pay, now, from my understanding in the research that's been done, the lack of deputies is a statewide issue.
Right.
But when you break it down and find out just how much this county puts into their sheriff's department, it's miles above a lot of the other sheriff's departments.
That's because we answered 10 times more calls than any surrounding county, including Laurel County, which is right there, got the interstate.
I understand
I can
that,
fact
but-
that. I mean,
but
that's fact.
If we approve this pay scale now, I'm gonna ask
It's-
this question. If we can't come up with the funds,
Correct, it's a budget. It's not,
at budget time,
it's not set in stone.
it's not set in stone?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm just putting you all on notice that it's a budget. Instead, like last year when I came back, if we go over budget, I have to do an amended budget and come back like we did for the VEST grant, put us over. So I had to do amended, come back to fiscal court. I'm just trying to do that. And, I spoke on transparency. I just wanted, just for y'all to be thinking, this is what, like I said, this is not saying that you all are approving a raise for my deputies and or 2 additional deputies. Like I said last time, where I want to be and what I promised the people when I ran for sheriff is that I would get enough people out there to cover this county. And it's a struggle. It really is.
And I know I'm out there with these guys as a firefighter when they pull up on an accident. I understand what they're going through and all that, but we also have a funding issue. Nobody wants us to raise taxes.
Yeah.
Nowhere. There's no will for it. So in order to do that, we still have to balance a budget, and
Right.
we'll
And-
find out with a couple other presentations today that there's a lot of money being asked for here that we may not have.
I understand that. And like I said, I want you to understand this is just a budget. This is not a guarantee that you all have come back and approved me to get this. This is just a budget for me to set it out there. It's not costing nothing until July. The county nothing. And in July, if y'all do it, if you did approve it, that's $58,000. We're still projected to give back over 120,000 back to the courts. That's what our projection is going to be. That we want to give back to the courts that we didn't spend.
Which is already, unfortunately, that's already in our current budget that we expected from year to year, so.
I don't think there's nobody that knows me that knows that I'm not very, very frugal with the county's money. I'm not just going to buy something just because I got the money. But with the additional, there is additional costs. the tires, the windshield wipers, the extra expenses on this stuff, on the vehicle count, the uniforms. But I'm telling the court, I really think we're getting in a good place to where we've been behind and we're playing catch up right now. Next couple of years, that's the reason, we can put it invested into the actual employees, which is where we want the money to go.
So, I mean, one of the other things we look at when we're doing the budget is, yeah, there's extra money for salaries, but then you're talking another 50% because of hazardous pay, workman's comp.
Right.
All the other expenses that the county pays for as part of their overall
Sure.
expenses.
I
So,
understand.
well, thank you.
There's something I wanted to add too. Mr. Renshaw had mentioned the increase in holiday pay. I was really wanting to avoid that.
This is my backbone right here. Y'all probably knew that already.
But like Mr. Renshaw had mentioned, an increase in holiday pay and an increase in that payroll. You have to remember, you all work on a fiscal year, I work on a calendar year. So when you all raise us in July, I have to reflect that raise in January. So that's another reason why that was bumped up, because you all raised our holiday pay and you raised our payroll, so I had to reflect that in my budget. So that's why that looks like that went up. That's what you all set it at in July.
Thank you.
She was playing a lot better than I can. Promise you.
Okay, we got that. I think that's all we need to do is just have you present the budget.
Do
We have to
is that
vote
good
on the
enough?
salaries then.
We have to have a motion.
Go ahead to the next.
We have to have a motion
For-
DLG.
Yeah, for DLG, we have to have a motion to accept our current
On
year
the
budget.
salary portion, right?
It's the salary portion, right? It's the maximum salaries. I think that's all you need.
Okay, all right.
If that's different, come back at the next meeting.
But we've got to have it by 15th, so I'm concerned, so, all right. Yeah, so the second one is a motion to, like Martin had said, to maximum salaries up to $2,980,000.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Wilson makes the motion and Mr. Strunk seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Third motion is we need to make a motion, I also need a motion to allow our office to participate in the state advancement program we do every year for $200,000, $200,000.
That's the transitional money, right?
That's the money we get.
Second.
Mr. Strunk makes the motion to participate in that, and Mr. Renshaw seconds. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the last one is I need a motion to approve our mineral tax settlement for 2022. We had a total of 5 mineral bills, only one of those bill being paid in 2023. The rest of them get turned over to Tim Price.
So we have 4 out of the 5 outstanding?
Yes. I've got that if you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Motion.
Mr. Strunk makes a motion to
Second.
approve mineral settlement. Mr. Wilson seconds.
I got
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then that motion passes.
Thank you.
Bobby, I got a quick
Yes,
question. The boys' home over in Broston, you know, when they escape, can you do a code red on that, and let the people around that area know that there's
Yeah, we're looking into a lot of different things. They need to, I don't know what's going to happen. With that being said, all jokes aside, that is tying, the resources that's tying us up. And it's not tying us up, the fire department, the rescue squad, and everybody else that's having to
They're
come
out
out and
there
look for these.
every few days.
Yeah, we had 6 run away the other day. We recovered all 6 of them, and then within 24 hours, 2 of the 6 ran away again, along with another different one. So we had 3.
What do they do when they run away? They just bring them back and put them back in there? Or do they, I mean,
Yeah, and according to I've been dealing with this for years. According to their policies, they're not allowed to detain them. Which,
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But if they're, I've talked to Martin about this and the group homes in the county and everything. Ultimately they're getting paid to do that, and it's a taxing on us as a sheriff's department.
Oh, I know.
We've one particular night the night the 6 ran away, we also had a pretty serious domestic going on out in Nancy. We only had 2 units out, so do the math. So something's got to give.
Yeah, the people in that area was calling me, wanting to know if they could just be notified
Right.
that they are, and I called Beverly.
Yes.
And Beverly said that the sheriff's department would have
The code red,
to activate it.
Yeah, we'll look into that. I agree with that 100%.
That way the people knows that, hey, I run out and make sure my car's locked and all
Agree.
this if they're on the
Yeah,
run.
It is a safety concern.
It is, yeah.
I agree. Yeah, we'll look into that.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I was talking with Teresa, and you mentioned the 15th that all this had to be done, so we don't want to hold anything up on that. I think what we can do is the court can motion and second and vote on the fact that you received your initial documents that you were talking about, the budget,
Right.
that you all received that, and that will be sufficient for the auditors.
Motion that we receive the sheriff's budget.
Second.
Mr. Strunk makes that motion, and Mr. Renshaw seconds that we receive the proposed sheriff's budget. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Judge, you just want to wait till after to sign these? That'd be fine with you? Okay.
Next item of business is our jailer, Mr. Anthony.
Well, I don't have any better news.
I don't have any better
I hate to
questions
tell
either.
you all.
How much money you need?
I've got several things. Some of it didn't make it on the agenda, but I've got several things here. We'll go ahead and start with what's on the agenda, the HVA system. I think the last court meeting, you all opened the bids on the HVA system. It was actually bid twice. The first time, we did not receive any bids. We rebid it and only received 1 bid. That bid was from Fry Mechanical in the amount of $145,000. I talked to the county treasurer and using ARPA money to pay for that, but that'll be the will of the court.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve the bid, and Mr. Strunk seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
The second one was also a bid for a cooking stovetop griddle for our kitchen. The one that we have in there now is just about not working. It came from Central Restaurant Products. It was also bid twice, and at the same time with HVAC, and we only got 1 bid on it. It was for a total of $13,360. County Treasurer and I also talked about using ARPA money for it as well.
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes the motion to accept the kitchen appliance bid, and Mr. Strunk seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
The next thing is our medical contract. Our medical contract, I received a letter in November from the 3 Cs Correctional Care, which is our current provider of our medical coverage, medical services there at the jail. In the letter, they stated that the 2024, coming up in the 2024 budget, it would be a 20% renewal. Based on
review of your current contract providing inmate medical services. We are requesting an increase to the fee for service of $9,972.67 per month, bringing the monthly total to $59,836 and a yearly total of $718.32. This 20% increase is aimed at offsetting the cost of increased wages to your facility. The average hourly rate specific to Pulaski County Detention Center in January was $25.54 an hour. As of October 2023, the average rate has increased to $32.44. In addition to wages, professional insurance for corrections has increased 7 times from its previous rates. These are just 2 areas worth noting for the significant increase. I did go back and contact Southern Health Partners, which was our former medical coverage, and requested a bid for them. Their base price was $736,060 for a monthly price of $61,338. So they were a little bit higher still than 3C. Those are those 2 companies are 2 major companies that supply correctional care in Kentucky. So I guess what I'm asking is for your all's permission to continue the contract in 2024 with 3C's Correctional.
We had a quick conversation before the meeting. This does not start officially till the new budget.
Till the new budget, that's correct. That's correct. I'm just trying to give you all a heads up.
When I was at the CAECO conference, I had a chance to sit in for a little bit with the jail meeting, and you guys were talking about things you're advocating with the state about. Can you kind of give us a brief summary of what you guys are trying to accomplish at the state?
Yes, we are, and I think some of it has already passed, to trying to get it to where people that are 60 days, we'd asked for 90, we're probably going to get 60, maybe even 30 days to release, to where they can actually go back onto medical coverage. Right now, when someone comes in that's incarcerated, they lose medical coverage, which means taxpayers basically have to take over the coverage for medical. That's why our medical costs are so high. We're asking that ones that at least are getting ready to be released, that they be able to get medical coverage, and maybe to help offset the cost where we can actually bill insurance for any medical cost. We do have several over there right now that are requiring dialysis treatments. We've got some over there that are requiring cancer treatments, and all that comes out of this budget right here because they have no medical insurance, and basically the taxpayers have to cover the cost.
For some reason, if somebody came into your jail system already on Medicaid or Medicare, they actually lose that insurance, and it's up to the county to end up paying for that insurance.
Yes, that's right, and that's why.
Correct, which
Yes.
that just bogs my mind. If
Yes.
somebody's already on,
Yeah. And,
why the county has to fork that bill, so.
Right, that's exactly, and that's one thing that, we as jailers and through our association are trying to lobby for, is to help, reduce these medical costs by, if they do have the insurance, to let us at least continue to bill on their insurance while they're incarcerated.
Is that also true of the state inmates?
State inmates as well.
Mm-hmm.
The $32 or $34 that we get for the state inmates, a portion of that is supposed to go toward their medical costs. Of course, we know that portion doesn't even cover about any portion of the costs.
And I would venture to say that the vast, vast majority of those inmates that you're talking about who requires this level of care are in fact state inmates who've been sentenced, and you're holding them over there for $34 a day instead of them being the state coming and picking them up and and taking care of those costs.
Right. Whenever we do have some that we try to put in for medical movement, but they won't move them to medical facilities unless they have a bed open for them. So until that bed becomes open, they remain in our facility, and we have to pay those costs until Department of Corrections move them to a medical facility.
Well, I know in our case, in our court, and I think Commonwealth Attorney's Office does the same thing. If there's individuals with serious medical conditions and they're not a threat to our community or flight risk, we try to get them out on some sort of bond condition so that you're not having to deal with that. That's why I asked. I figured most of them were probably state.
Most of them are state inmates, and a portion, you know, we've asked, you know, the state does have some catastrophic money that we try to bill to recoup some of our charges if they go in the hospital. So we try to tap into that catastrophic money. I've got a lady that bills, and Mark was asking about the medication. You know, they do go back and they do reprice that medication, trying to get it at the Medicare rate. So I mean, we do try to reprice the medicine stuff.
I'm seeing bills of $11,500 a month that we're paying for just for medication.
Right,
So
and a lot of that's dialysis, cancer treatments.
that's over $135,000 a year that we're paying just
Right.
for medication, not including all the other stuff, so.
Right, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to advocate to where, you know, eventually we'll be able to bill insurance, at least for some of it anyway.
Are we still transferring in-state inmates from other locations? Are we transferring them in from other places?
What do you mean?
Like if the state calls and says, hey, do you have a bed for this person?
Usually the state calls and says, you know, they'll send us a list and they will transfer the inmates to other facilities. Yes, the state does still do their movement.
I think his question was, are the
bringing
state
in-
putting any inmates in your facility?
No, they're not putting any in, they're actually taking them out.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. The next item is food cost. For 2024, the 2023 rate was for our food cost for Kelwell Services was $1.13. They have also gone up and asking for the next rate, I think you all got it there, is around $1.15, so about a 2-cent increase. That's per meal. It's a hot meal 3 times a day, so each inmate that we have, they bill $1.13, or as of now in 2024, they want to go up to $1.15 a tray. So I'd like the court's approval to continue food service with Kelwell with that 2 cents increase on a tray.
Motion.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Wilson to accept the food managing program at the jail, and Mr. Strunk seconds. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Did we get a motion on the?
No, you need to go back.
We need to back up,
Okay.
Anthony, and get a motion on the healthcare,
Okay.
the 3C, as you call it. That's your
Motion.
recommendation.
Thought that wasn't going into effect until the next budget.
2024, just like your all's permission to go ahead and continue that contract with 3-3s in 2024. I have to have my budget in, what you all think, by 1st of April, so I wanted to go ahead and, so I can go ahead and start finalizing my budget with these increases.
Motion to approve the contract for healthcare.
Mr. Renshaw makes the motion to approve healthcare. Do I have a second? Mr. Strunk seconds. Any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
And my final thing is in May 23rd of 2023, you all approved for us to get video arraignment equipment through a grant from the Department of Local Government. Since then, they've had to have computer software updates. This is also under the same grant. We need your all's approval to pay for the computer software upgrade of $44,018.78. This is a total reimbursement from the Department of Local Government through that grant. But we need your all's approval to pay that invoice and then be reimbursed for it.
Motion to pay invoice and wait for money.
Second. Mr. Renshaw makes the motion and Mr. Turpin seconds for grant approval reimbursement. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes.
And then this, the last thing, and it's very little, but I do have a check here to deliver to the court, but it is only for $8,753.18, which is salary reimbursement for the last quarter of the employees that work in our commissary, which we can reimburse the court for. So I'd like to present that to the treasurer.
Thank you.
Motion.
We hit the motion.
Motion to accept.
Motion approved.
Mr. Wilson makes the motion and Mr. Renshaw seconds to accept the check. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
18 out of 500.
Motion passes. Next item of business would be fleet maintenance. Mr. Frank?
We got 8 of our lease vehicles that's coming up due, and I was gonna ask permission to be able to bid those to buy them out.
Motion to approve bidding them out.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve a lease bid. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Strunk seconds. Any discussion?
How many are we doing?
All in favor, say aye.
Oops.
You got discussion?
Yeah. How many are we looking at having to do this with?
8.
8.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And the next thing I got is I need to ask for permission to surplus 3 vehicles from the jail, and then we got some furniture in a garage door to surplus from the park.
Motion to surplus.
Second.
Mr. Strunk makes a motion to surplus vehicles and furniture, and Mr. Wilson seconds. Any discussion?
Yeah, the 3 vehicles for surplus, which ones are those?
There are 2 2017 Express vans and then a 2001 Tahoe.
Okay, and how are we going to surplus them?
Well, the vans, Anthony's got a deal worked out with another county to use as a transport vehicle.
Okay, so we have a dollar amount on those already?
We're still working on that through negotiations. I'll tell you right now, it's with Lincoln County to transport those inmates that from Lincoln County down to our facility. The van that they have now is in poor repair, so they had inquired about, maybe being able to purchase one of those vans, and we're getting ready to surplus to transport those inmates to us.
Do we have an estimated value of what those things are?
We went back and looked last night. We'd actually paid, the jail actually paid for those vehicles through the lease, and Frank and I are actually going back through the records trying to see what we had purchased those vans for.
Yeah.
We just haven't got that far yet.
So just got to wait for more information. Okay. Thank you, guys.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Next item would be the dive equipment bid approval. I think of that, Stacy.
Morning. We had did a dive bid for the rescue squad back, I think, the end of November or so. We had a meeting in December Fire Commission. I took it back and let the equipment committee look at it, and the rescue squad. Everything was met the criteria on it. And actually, the bid come in a little less than what we had approved in the budget for it. So I just asked the court to allow us to accept this bid for $31,105.
Motion to approve bid.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve the bid for dive equipment, and Mr. Turpin seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
It wasn't on the agenda, Judge, but I was just going to catch everybody up on the weather sirens. I know I talked to you about it. The 4 weather sirens that was approved by the court back in 2022, they got those weather sirens this year, or past year now, 2023. Federal Signal come in and done the inspections on all the other sirens in the county. There was 15. They did that the week of Thanksgiving. There was no problems with them, so they're all operational. They did install 4 other sirens the week of Christmas. They did the one at Ferguson, Eubank, Naomi, and Fallbush. So that'll catch the county up on all the weather sirens. Those are waiting to be hooked up by the electric company right now. Just a process waiting on them to come out and hook the lines to them. And then that'll bring us up to having all the weather sirens where they're supposed to be that you all voted back in 2022 on. So,
Good deal.
but, and on that note, I'd encourage everybody that's watching the video that just keep in mind these weather sirens are not made to wake you up in your house at night when you're asleep. These are only supposed to be heard at about a mile, mile and a half away during daylight if you're outside. So I still encourage everybody to buy a weather radio and keep it at your house. Because we're not in the tornado season right now, but this weather we got, who knows? The 4 should be operational soon.
Next item would be your county clerk, Mr. Tim Price.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'm going to file a formal complaint. How did I get last on the list?
I ain't gonna get by without Mark.
All right, I think in front of each of you, I have my 2024 budget, and I would like to present this as a whole. But first item is I'd like to present the county clerk's budget for 2024 and ask the court to accept the budget as a whole. Is there anybody that didn't get a copy of the?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget, but I've got some questions.
Mr. Renshaw makes a motion to approve the clerk's
Second.
budget, and Mr. Strunk seconds.
The motion is for receiving the budget.
Receiving the budget, yes. And discussion.
All right. So, first of all, Bobby and Tim, thank you for getting this information to me so I had a chance to review it before the meeting. We're showing an increase here of, in your budget, of about, what, $4 million plus?
Let's see. Total.
So last year, I think this is last year's, isn't this what I got?
I think the,
Last year amount, the total receipts were $22,828,000. This year, it's $27,116,000.
I don't know what one you're looking at, but mine says 26,681,883.
Tim, didn't you have an amended budget like we
Yeah, we did have an amended budget.
But
It
the
may not-
original budget,
Huh?
the original budget only showed
Yeah,
22.
but there was an amendment to that, and that's what I guess the reason the difference is. So actually,
Yeah, that's what I'm going by when I'm looking.
Okay,
The
go
one
ahead.
you submitted a year ago
Okay.
at this time.
okay.
So that's a difference of $4 million. Couple questions I had was, a year ago, you had delinquent taxes of $670,000, In this year budget, it went up to $1.4 million. Are we having a problem collecting the taxes we need?
No, well, actually, they changed the way that we do some of these things, but actually, I guess we've had maybe, or expecting more to have to collect, and that's for the reason for the, and again, you gotta understand, these are estimated
Right,
things.
I
We
understand.
don't have a
I understand.
solid-
I'm just trying to get your thinking of why
Yeah.
it was increased.
Yeah.
So you're expecting us to have a deeper problem of collecting these
Probably
taxes?
so, yeah, I think that was what, that Jennifer, she's not here, but when she was figuring this up, I think that's what she kinda anticipated probably.
It just shocked me that double. Let's see. Bear with me just a second here as I go. Okay, our motor vehicle uses tax. Actually, it looks like it's increasing $1.8 million. Is that because of the valuation of all these vehicles going up?
Yes, and also, you know, again, that's just an educated guess because all determines about the sales. But actually, in Pulaski County, we've been blessed to have record number of sales each month by a lot of the car dealers, and that, you know, that in the end evaluates a lot more tax money that we have coming in, more revenue.
Okay, last year this time, the deputies' gross wages, salaries, this does not count what the county pays, was $1.225 million. In this budget, it's $1.675. That's a difference of $450,000. That's a huge hit. Because even though you want to raise it $450,000, by my calculation, that's going to cost our budget a minimum of $139,000 in additional retirement. And actually, there's something else I didn't. Social Security, retirement, and what am I missing?
Medicare,
Uh,
Medicare.
Medicare, yeah, workman's comp and all that. Plus, well, I'll let you explain what your theory on the rise.
Well, that will be combined with hoping to be able to hire new staff and as well as raises. We have, if you ask me, and you have, so I think we have the best county clerk's office staff in the state. They do a great job. In my transition, I didn't lose a single person. They all stayed with me. Now, as you know, Pulaski County's growing. So we have to make an effort to get ready for this growth. And in doing so, we need more people to staff our locations. Because you know as well as I do, nobody likes to wait in lines. They want to get service. They want to get in and out. And that is the part of hiring more people. The other side of that is, how do you keep quality people? Well, you keep quality people by paying them. You have to, because, you know, we're in a constant battle with comparing to other places of business and salaries and stuff. So I'm thankful that we have been able to keep what we have. And that's looking to the future is where these numbers come from.
You currently have 3 locations, right?
That's correct.
And from my understanding, you have 35 employees, correct?
Yes, some
So
of them
that's
are part-time.
roughly 12 employees per location.
Right.
Now, if I remember right, our county census did not change over the last 10 years. So I'm just kind of wondering, where's the need for the extra employees?
What do you think the census is?
It's the same as it was 10 years ago.
What was that?
30 or 65, 63, 65,000?
Do you think that's a real number?
Probably not, but
Okay. So
but then you can look at the census 10 years ago not being a real number either. So
All I can say is, we're there each and every day facing the people. And I know Pulaski County is growing. Now, I don't have an accurate census. I know what it says. I know that number. But everybody I talk to, I don't think that's a real number. I think we're way above that kind of number. Now, I don't know where you go to get a figure of how many employees you have per person population. There's probably a place. I just know how many Pulaski County needs, and I know what it takes to keep it flowing like it has been. And that's where I'm coming from. Because I believe in taking care of my people, because they have absolutely taken care of me. They do a good job, and I'm thankful for that. And that's why I'm really going to bat for them, so to speak.
How much of a raise are you planning to give your employees?
We've based it again, I guess it's according to, we do job evaluations. So it's according to the job. I myself, state gives me a 5% raise. Okay. I don't feel like it's right for me to take a raise and my employees not get nothing. But the maximum will be 5%, but it'll be based on job evaluations. We just started that this year for the first time. We've just now began to implement that. We've never had it in the past. So that's kind of how we'll address what we're going to be doing as far as money.
What is your current average salary for your deputies?
I don't know what the average would be. Again, Jennifer's not here. I don't know what that average number is. I really don't.
So, I mean, the way and as we've seen here today, we're looking at $500,000 increase in the county budget in one day for next year when we don't raise taxes because it's not something that county residents. So we have to figure out where we're going to get this money at. And usually you give us excess fees. Do you know where you're at in that for this year?
I don't, because we haven't got our quarter, but if you, our last quarter in, I think we budgeted $600,000 for that to the county. Again, that's just a estimated number. But I'm thinking we're probably going to be knocking on the door of close to $1 million. So there's $400,000 that.
I don't know what we received last year. I think it was over $1 million, wasn't it?
I think it was over $1 million.
We received last year.
Mm-hmm.
Give me just one more minute here. On those new hires, will some of those be working the new transition grant we got?
I'm sorry?
For the grant you guys got to transfer everything, the cloud, all the record keeping.
Yes. Some of those probably will be coming out of the storage fee money, which is, that's not reflected there. It's according to the only people you can pay out of that. And to my knowledge, I'm the first clerk in the state to use it for actual labor. Most everybody's just done it for document restoration, things like that. So I talked to the auditors, and they said as long as it is associated with the deed part and all that, you can pay an employee out of that. Now, that's a new thing. We haven't had a constant person of that yet. Hopefully we can in the near future. We are looking at, and that too, having money to have part-time people. And in hiring part-time people, you don't have a lot of the expense, that you do with full-time.
Right, we don't either. The county doesn't either.
Right.
I think, on the back, if you guys look on the back, I don't know if we agreed to this as a county or not, but we probably don't have to. Martin could probably enlighten us. But a year ago, am I right to say that that the clerk's office only have one loan out, from what I see here. And this year, there's 4. So there's 3 new loans that you took out or something? Short-term, like,
I'm not aware of any loans. I don't know what that, again,
it
Jennifer.
says liabilities outstanding. This one's for DRMS. And it says $88,000.
That might be money that we have not paid them or something. Again, I wish Jennifer was here, but she's not. But we have not borrowed any money.
Okay, because these are, looks to me like outstanding for loans,
Yeah,
borrowed
no.
money.
We have zero debt.
Okay, because this says,
Contracts, you guys.
This was-
This may be
Yeah,
contracts.
she says probably under the contracts.
yeah, this says, as of January 2023, principal amount 88,000. Principal balance due 69,000. Here's another one that says, as it was taken out in January 2023 for 31,000. And the remaining balance is 23,000. Principal balance, and here's one more for CCS. It's a 4-year. It was taken out one at 23 for 168,000,
CCS is our recording system. And
So-
and we owe 84,000.
DRMS is the bookkeeping system.
These are all contracts is what they are. We don't borrow no money from them. That's just, I guess, what we still have to fulfill on our contracts. But we don't have a outstanding debt with them, other than, we do a monthly or however we pay them.
Yeah, because this says 4 years, 4 years, and 4 years. But these are new compared to what was on the thing a year ago, so.
Well, I don't know, yeah, they just weren't on there. I don't see the amount for last year's, but this year, again, I don't know how that come about.
So these aren't new programs or anything that you're doing?
No.
Okay. Sorry to ask questions, you guys know I love to ask questions,
Well,
so.
that's the thing about, that's why we do what we do, try to be as open as we can. I'm thankful to be a part of Pulaski County government. I tell you what, you guys do a good job, and I appreciate you giving us the liberty to operate our offices as we do, because sometimes it's pretty hectic. But again, I want to go back to how we're blessed in Pulaski County with all the businesses and things and the revenues that we have coming in that enables us to do these things. And this is kind of just a breakdown of one particular office of how we approach doing that. But anybody else have a question, anything?
I just want to say one more thing. I wanted to make sure everybody knew that's coming up here and asking for this money, how tight the county portions of all this budgeting that's being asked for is going to be this coming year. Because like I said, the biggest thing for me is knowing that we got a big bill coming in retirement. It's going to start going up by, who knows, over the next 3 years, we're supposed to be paying another $1 million a year in retirement. So unless we keep hold of our budget, then we're going to have to make other ways to increase revenue. And I know most taxpayers won't like that, so.
And let me add too, this is a budget. This doesn't mean that all the money is spent that's been designated for that stuff. So, what you're talking is worst case, and that's why you need to look at it. But it's not, for example, $1 million in that budget is something they changed on the way we have to do our tax sale. We have to deposit all those checks when they request they want to buy these. Used to, we could hold those checks out, just give them back to the person. Well, that's done over $1 million to our budget that we have to in and out. It's very confusing how that works. But it would seem like we're increasing our budget $1 million and something right there, when in reality it's not.
Well, I just want to say, I know I ask a lot of questions to everybody today and every time we're in this, but I do it for the county residents to learn, and in this case today, I wanted to ensure that the three the three things, the jail, the sheriffs, and you, that, you know, we definitely need to watch what we're doing, so. And that's all I have.
Tim, let me ask you a simple question.
Yes, sir.
In this proposed budget, you do have 3 new hires. You're asking to hire 3 new people and do some salary or wage increases. My question would be, how does this interfere with the excess fees that you'll turn back over to county government? Because our budget is set up already for this year that we're going to be receiving. We budgeted about $1.5 million. And if these raises and salaries and new employees get into our excess fees, in the same way with the sheriff's department, if they start eating into excess fees, then it does create a budget crunch on our side. And I didn't know if you're still saying that you'll still turn over an excess fee of $1 million or somewhere similar to what you have been in previous years.
Again, I do anticipate that. That's all hinged on how the economy does. But for example, this year, like I said, we were 600,000. Next year, I think we got 660 or something like that budgeted. And in the past, it's been way over what we're budgeting. We try to be safe there. I do anticipate $1 million or thereabouts for this year. And unless we have a big downfall in the economy, we'll be right there again next year.
Are you gonna wait till July to make sure that we got the funds for you to hire 3 more people?
I don't know when I'll be hiring. I hadn't planned on putting a time limit on when I could. As you know, we've just switched to a new system, and it's going to take us a little bit of time to get used to that with what we got. So it will be some time before I hire, but I don't know about if I can wait till July.
Because that way we can work together and try to make sure, because like I said, you're looking at 3 new employees at $450,000 cost the county $130,000. And then now you're talking 3 new employees, which is gonna cost an extra $36,000 in healthcare costs. So, and then you got all the other expenses. So that's roughly gonna cost the county additional $200,000 for what you're asking for.
Even if I wait till July, that's not going to affect my excess fees that I turn in.
No, I'm talking about, July 1st is when our new budget comes in, and we can figure out if we have the money to sustain what you're asking for from us. Because you want 3 more employees and a raise. We're looking at the county itself pays all the expense. You pay the salary, we pay everything else. So that's going to be a total of about $200,000. We have to look at our budget for July 1st and decide whether we even had the money.
Well,
that's a future expense that we have to look at. So I'm just saying, if we can work together, if you can wait and make sure that the county has the funds to allow all these expenses, that's why I'm saying, can you wait till July 1st until we get our budget set?
Again, I don't understand, because my excess fees, that I don't know how much that's going to be. I don't know how you going to know what to budget. You know, right now, evidently what you all budget on is what I turn in as a prospective total. But in the past, that has been well over. Now, I can't guarantee that again. I don't know, but I guess history.
Well, those funds, they come from vehicle licensing and stuff. Those extra funds actually goes towards providing the road department with the funds that they need to try to help out the blacktop funds and stuff like that the state don't help us with. So we rely on those excess fees to budget for the road department, is where the majority of those fees, excess fees, go to, because the majority of, besides the majority of your fees deals with property, like vehicles and stuff like that. So that's where I see the majority of your excess fees that we get goes to our road department. So I'm just saying, we just need to, if you can wait till we get our budget together to make sure we have the funds available, that would be great. So just something to think about. I'm not going to put you on the spot to say that yes or no right now. Just please think about it.
I think like the sheriff, though, the auditor requires them to have this turned in.
Right.
So
I have a
He has
motion, I have a motion and a second on the floor to accept this budget as proposed. We ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Now, let me find my paper here. Need to vote on. Okay, here we go. I would like to present the annual order setting maximum amount for deputies and assistants, and to ask the court to accept that.
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes a motion to accept the setting of the maximum amount for deputies. So I have second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Strunk. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, and finally, I would like to request the court to approve the use of funds for 4 additional cash drawers, an amount of $200 each for the operation within the clerk's office.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Strunk and second by Mr. Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Next item would be Road Department, 3,000 ton of rock.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Wilson, second by Mr. Strunk. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Have your road list in front of you. I think we have no speed limits.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Strunk to accept road list, second by Mr. Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to bill, finance. Kristen.
In front of you guys, you've got the bill list. I'm seeking approval for this month's text to be written.
Need a motion for approval of bill list.
Motion.
Mr. Ranshaw makes that motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Strunk. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Transfer of funds. Mr. Crystal.
And then also in front of you guys, you've got 2 transfers, both from the general fund, one going to the jail for $200,000, and the other one going to the fire department for $14,643, which is the 50% for the computers for EMS.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Strunk makes a motion for transfer, and Mr. Wilson seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposition? Oh, motion passes. For the settlement.
Okay, and then also seeking approval for the treasurer's settlement for the month of December.
Motion.
Ranshaw makes the motion for treasurer's settlement. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Turpin. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We have one other item, Mr. Martin Hatton.
I also have one other item too, real quick, sorry. Looking for approval for the bank reconciliations for the month of December.
Motion.
Second.
Wilson makes a motion for bank recs, and Mr. Ranshaw seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Are you done?
This is something, Jason, I've been working on. It's a deed of easement out in the west end of the county from Bobby and Norma Tarter to Fiscal Court for ingress and egress to the Muse Van Hoosier Cemetery. And The charters have already signed it, so it's ready for approval by the court and the signature of the judge.
So have a motion for this deed of easement.
Motion to approve.
Mr. Turpin makes that motion.
Second.
Mr. Ranshaw seconds. Any discussion on this? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. That concludes our business. Do we have any citizens still left that want to comment? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Mr. Wilson makes that motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Turpin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
There's that.